In this particular video, we are going to look at Amazon Service EBS, Elastic Block Store. So what I have here is basically I have an EC2 instance. This is a Ubuntu instance. It's created with Elastic Block Store of 8 gig. It's a 8 gig volume. Okay. And on that VM, kind of just to demonstrate this, what I have done is I have created like 100 files, right? And each file has a content in it where the number in the file matches the number in the file name. So file 1 says this is file 1, file 10 says this is file 10, okay, so on and so forth, right? All these 100 files are like that, okay. Now what I'm going to do is using EBS, I'm going to take a sort of a snapshot of this EBS, right, which is like a backup, right? So now let me see the volumes, right? So it's looking at the snapshots. I want to look at the volumes, right? I yet don't have a snapshot. Okay. So now I choose this volume, right? And from the actions, I'll say create snapshot. Okay. So I will create a snapshot, right? I don't have to give anything. I'll just keep default. Okay. So now you'll see that there is a snapshot. Okay. So this snapshot got created. Okay. It's showing pending, so we have to wait till it kind of completes the snapshot, right? So let's wait. It's completed, right? Now it created the snapshot. So now we got a snapshot which is like a lightweight backup. Okay. Now let's say you took a snapshot, a backup today, right? And the next day somebody comes and messes up with this machine, right? So say, for example, what I'll do is I'll just delete everything on this machine, right? So I'll say rm star, right? So now this machine got corrupted, right? Everything got deleted, all these 100 files got deleted, right? And now your machine has gone bad. Okay. Now the good thing is, right, we have a snapshot, we have a backup. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is using this. Okay, so first of all, let's do one thing, right? So this volume which is for that running VM, right, we'll just take a note of which availability zone it is in, right? So it's in the US East 1B, and I'll come to that in a bit, right? Why we need to know this, right? But now let's say I go to snapshot, right? Now I choose this snapshot, and from the actions I say create volume from snapshot. Okay, we can even directly create an image, right? But let's for the simplicity, let's create a volume from snapshot. Okay, now we are going to create a VM, right? Create a volume, right? Now by default what it does is it puts in a different availability zone, right? 1A. And then what happens is a VM that you have in the availability zone, you cannot actually bring it up in another availability zone easily. So that's the reason what I'll do is I'll just create a volume in the same availability zone as that of the current VM or the current volume. Okay. So let me create a volume, right? So I created a volume, right? So now if we go back to our volumes menu, right, you will see that there are two volumes. Okay. So the first one is kind of, we created the first one is we created now from snapshot, and this one is what is attached to the current VM. Okay. Now again, instead of creating another VM, let me do this where what I'll do is I'll just detach this volume from the current VM. Okay. So I'll say detach volume. Okay, so let me just detach this volume from the current VM, right? Okay, so it says that unable to detach because the instance is running. Okay, so what first we need to do is so first of all what I'll do is let me just disconnect, right? Because now this is VM is going to go down, right? So let me just disconnect from this, right? And then what I'll do is let me stop this instance, right? So I'll stop this instance, right? So we are basically our VM is corrupt, right? It's gone bad, and we want to restore it from a backup, right, or a snapshot, which is a lightweight backup, right, which is what we are going to demonstrate. right? So this restarting a VM takes a while, right? So now it stopped, right? Now I will go to the volumes, right? Okay, so it failed because that VM was running, right? Let me close this notification, right? So now we have to remember which one was it, right? So it's the second one, right, to which the instance is attached. Okay, so I will go to actions and I will detach this volume. Okay, so now this volume is detached. Okay, so now if you refresh, you'll see the attached resources has gone away, right, from that second volume. Now our first one was the volume that we restored from the snapshot or from the backup. Now I will attach this, right? So I will attach this volume, right? And now you can see the drop down instance. Okay, so see the availability zone here is 1B, right? So only VMs in that availability zone will show up here, right? So now since we were kind of consciously created that volume from snapshot in the same availability zone, we are able to do this, right? So now I'm attaching it to the VM, right? Instead you could create another VM, right, where you want to restore, for example. And another important thing is you will give the reserved for root volume, right? It's a root volume. Basically, you don't want to give an additional volume for that VM, right? So now I attached. Okay, so now it's already attached, right? It's in use. So now I'll go back to this instance, right? And it stopped. So I will start this instance, right? It is pending, right? Once it starts, it will assign itself a public IP, right? And I have already set up the key pair, right? So using my key pair, right, what I'll do is I will open my putty, right? And I want to connect to this VM, right? And in the authentication, I have to give my credentials, right, which is my private key. So I have already downloaded my ppk, which is in my download folder, right? And now I'm going to connect to this VM. So now what should happen is it should basically be a restored VM, right? So whatever corruption had happened, like all those 100 deleted files, they should kind of be here. But let's see whether that works, right? So I'm logged into the VM, right? I'm logged in. Boom, everything is here, right? And not only that, but let me check if they are the correct files, right? So yeah, they are, right? I mean, maybe let me try a little differently, right? So that you can see, okay, file 1 is file 1, file 10 is file 10, 100 is 100, right? All good. Okay, so this is a little demo on the EBS, right? Elastic Block Storage, which is a service, or in the Amazon Management Console, they call that as a feature of EC2, right? It shows up as a feature of EC2, right? And we sort of, demonstrated attaching, detaching these volumes, right? Then creating snapshots from these volumes, right? And then taking a backup with the snapshot and restoring a VM by sort of creating a volume from the snapshot and attaching the VM to the volume. And we import it up and we showed the restore. Okay, if you like the video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and good luck using and exploring AWS services. Thanks. Bye.